Before the council elections and the victory of Reform Party gaining 10 councils where they've got ultimate control, people were very apathetic and had given up, hence the low voter turnout in the general election. But now, since that point, it's been like boom, because people that were apathetic now realise that, hang on a minute, we are going to get some change, even at council level. Council level, do not underestimate it. This is massive, because you're going to have more transparent councillors. Okay, they're going to make mistakes, but the ones that were in with years of experience made a shed load of mistakes. I can vouch for a few. I do live in a council area, obviously, and my council spent loads of money on things that I kept thinking, why are you spending money on that? But let's get back to something I want to draw your attention to. The media, the mainstream media, are in a bit of meltdown. They're not really in meltdown, are they? What it is, it's just something to grab onto to create news, because they're at it 24/7, so they have to have something to say. So Keir Starmer's made this speech where he's telling everybody how he gets it, and he's going to, people are feeling like strangers in their own country, a line taken almost directly. So he has used more or less the direct line from Enoch Powell's famous speech. And what gets me is, if you're a left-wing Labour politician that actually has a penchant for communism, anything, stakeholder capitalism, meetings with Larry Fink and Bill Gates, to have to condescend to come to the public, even though when I watch him, I don't feel one bone of sincerity. I don't feel like he means what he says. If I listen to Rupert Lowe say something, or Nigel Farage, I can see that there's some conviction in their voices. I don't see it with Starmer at all. He looks like he's reading from a script. I think the phrase I'm looking for is his heart's not in it. Strangers in our own land. We've been strangers in our own land for too long. And that's been at the hands of everybody since John Major, Tony Blair, Gordon Brown. And let's not forget Nick Clegg. Nick Clegg's the sort of person who was in a coalition government and then got given a plum job at Facebook. And what did he do when he was at Facebook? He banned a serving president. He took a serving president down off social media, as did that idiot that owned Twitter before Musk turned it into X. Who gives these people the right to do this? And where has it got them? I'm going to come back to Starmer in a minute about his pathetic speech. But we've got to concentrate on the media for now. I watched a video with Steve Bartlett with some data from the US. CNN, in 1 week, over a 3-hour per day period, prime time, that's the prime viewing, 3 hours every day in a week. How many people do you think they reached? 88,000 added together. Fox did better. Over that same period, they got 180,000. Do you know how many I got in that period on my Twitter? 1.9 million. What does that tell you? And I'm not even doing anything professional. And I'm not on for 3 hours a day, prime time. So they've got more airtime to go at. I'm only doing a quick few minutes on Twitter. So it tells me that people don't trust the media. And the research showed as the interview progressed that it was because of trust. People had ceased to trust the mainstream media in huge numbers. CNN, they get government funding. I don't think they get it now with Trump in. But this is where we're heading. We're heading to social media, because the thing is, you can watch it when you want. Twitter is quicker. A lot of news comes to the mainstream from Twitter. I'm not saying from me, I'm just saying from Twitter and X in general. This is a massive shift. So when you keep thinking, are we winning? Are we fighting back? Too right, we're fighting back. We're making leaps and bounds like you wouldn't believe. Even to the point where a left-wing, communist-loving Prime Minister has had to cede defeat and say, we're looking like strangers in our own country. He's had to take a line from Enoch Powell's Rivers of Blood speech. If it wasn't a direct line, it was bloody similar, because it's all over the media about it. So, when you look back at all the progress we've made since, say, lockdown, It's only been this last few years we've really fought back. We sat in a frame of mind where we anticipated getting what we voted for. When we voted for Brexit, we anticipated getting Brexit. We didn't anticipate getting Theresa May, did we? So much for democratic parties, where the members can vote in or out a leader. It just doesn't happen that way. Big parties like the Tory party decide who they're going to put in, and if you vote against it, they'll find a reason to move them out the way and still put who they want in. But the thing is, this is all progress in our favour. This is all us moving in the right direction. No, it's not going to stop the boats because we still haven't got a political will to do it. And all you need to do is copy Trump. You tariff France. We know how to do it. The threat of the tariff alone would bring France to heel, and they would stop using us like Rwanda. We are their Rwanda. We are their escape system. That's why they don't make any luxurious or comfortable accommodation for them along the northern seaboard. Few hotels commandeered up and down the A26, which is the main motorway up and down France. But it's nothing like we're giving them. So what you've got to look at with this progress that we're making, Starmer is losing ground all the time. And the reason I want to concentrate on Starmer is as we nibble away at him and his power base, he thought it was going to come in, Mr. Big Shot, have his meetings with Bill Gates and Larry Fink from BlackRock and do his deals with Davos. You know, he's gone to the meeting of the willing on the back of the train. It seems to have involved Colombian marching powder, who knows. And he thought he was just going to get on with it, didn't he? He thought, well, that's it, you know. Oh, what did he say to Emily Maitlis? Oh, I'd sooner deal with Davos all day long. Because it's not cluttered up with us, people pushing back, people not wanting what he's doing. And because of Tony Blair's interference in the civil service, setting up quangos and non-government organisations that have a say in what goes on, very well-funded think tanks, we sit in a country where our sovereignty that we gave on trust has been diluted into non-government organisations and bureaucrats that we can't vote in or vote out. You know, it was a chinless wonder in the Bank of England that decided, oh, what a great idea it would be to have a digital currency. We can keep track on everyone then. Well, maybe people don't want to be kept track on throughout their entire life, and a government know what they're spending their money on and tell them if they're a bit overweight they shouldn't be buying a bar of chocolate. No, I don't want to live like that, thanks. I want an infrastructure in a country that's wrapped around my needs and your needs and everyone else's needs. And that starts at council level. So again, this is where this defeat of the Tories and the Labour Party has been huge. They'll be talking about this for months. They'll keep talking about it behind closed doors because they have to do something about it because there's another wave of council elections coming through. These new councillors, you'll be led to believe are inexperienced and going to cock up. They will make mistakes, but your own council's already made mistakes. That's why we're unhappy with them. And they're the voice of experience. You know, I don't want to think that Lancashire County Council spent just short of £2 million on iPhones and computers so that all their councillors could have compatible hardware. I don't care. Pay for your own computers. This is madness. And the madness has to go. And the madness is being replaced by common sense politics. Andrea Jenkins, unlike Jenrick, who pays for his films, when you see Jenrick walking along being filmed, he's paying for that. And when you see Andrea Jenkins, she gets her phone out. And I remind people of this sort of thing because when Jenrick's doing his films, that will go against his expenses. Another burden on the taxpayer, like we haven't got enough. And again, the narrative is breaking down. Even Tony Blair has had to come out and agree that we're pushing too hard in the route we're going with our energy and Ed Miliband's batshit crazy ideas. And then you look at his backers and it all kind of ties into what's going on here. So the reason I'm saying all this, the media is being slapped good and hard. We don't even have to fight. It's just a conscious choice. And it's not just a conscious choice by me and you. It's lots of other people. Even if they're not turning to social media yet, they're not watching the telly anymore. My 89-year-old mother-in-law refuses to watch the news. She won't watch the news. She's just switched off from it. I would at 89. She'd just lost her husband into dementia in a care home recently. And why would you want to know what the news is? So if you look at the older generation like that who are turning away, and the younger generation who never turned to it in the first place, the younger generation on TikTok and watching these reels, there's an opening there for some common sense. And I think that Starmer has very little to offer anyone young. He's stiff, he's wooden, he doesn't come across well. His cabinet are clueless. I mean, they really are the dregs of political talent. I don't think I can even call them talent. Even when we knew we were getting stuff by politicians back in the day, at least they had something about them. At least there was a dividing line between Labour and Tory. At least you could see that Neil Kinnock was a lefty and John Major wasn't. And there was a bit of feistiness. Even though, remember, that question time in Parliament, it's not rehearsed, but they know what they're going to be asked, so they can have something ready. They've got something ready to wear, as it were. Pret-a-potter. Talking about pret-a-potter, little Macron, yeah, there in his... Did you notice how Macron and Keir Starmer had the same little zippies on? Weren't that sweet? Got the same coat on. That was quite nice. I'm not sure what the tissue was that was moved away rather rapidly, as, you know, maybe it was Lord Ali's secret phone number for Macron. Or maybe it was something that perhaps you would use for your nostril. Who knows? Who cares? It was just a bit of light-hearted fun, that. But the thing is, as we move forward, you must remember all the things we've pushed back on. Otherwise, you'll get in this frame of mind that it's hopeless, and it's not hopeless. We're making progress all the time. The council elections are huge, absolutely huge, because it's 10 big councils and 2 mayorals. The media will be against them, trying to trip them up all the time. And at the end of the day, whichever way you look at it, the man that takes the most criticism, Nigel Farage, is the man that's shaping British politics from the referendum to the present day, and he's only had a seat, 9-10 months. That's what you've got to look at here. We are shaping politics. The people who think like us are shaping politics. And the thing to do is to not get too overzealous on right-wing stuff, because everybody come to an election will be craving that middle ground, because that's where the win is. And unless we win, we change nothing. We're just howling at the moon, all of us. So we need to win, and to win, we have to be able to display to people that, look, this far-right label that everybody gives us, look what it actually means. It means controlled immigration. It means stop printing documents in a million languages. It means learn English. And even Starmer has had to admit that. Even Starmer. So that is some powerful effect. And that effect has been because of the council win. So Nigel Farage is even really colouring Labour policy. That is some achievement. No matter what his critics say, and they'll come on and tell you, is this, that and the other, I'm not interested in personalities. I'm interested in something that will work. And something that will work is something that's already been built up. You can't house people without building the housing. And what you've got here is, you've got the building blocks of something really quite big that's going to change British politics forever. It's already done it at council level. And my support will stay there. Because I can see people who are there also, like Anne Widdecombe and Dame Andrea Jenkins. These are good, decent people. And you're going to get Tories that are going to come across. That's not a bad thing, because the ones that they're attracting are the real Tories, the real conservative Tories, the ones that have conservative values, not these fakes that have infiltrated since the Lib Dems had a coalition. And that's why people got fed up with politics. They didn't come out and vote in 2024 because what they saw before them was the same. Vote blue, vote red, you get the same. That's what they saw, and they were absolutely right. So even though they don't follow politics, they knew what was going on, this uni-party approach. They thought they had us in the bag after lockdown. They thought they could move forward and do what the hell they wanted. They did not anticipate this pushback. And boy, have we pushed back. I did a podcast earlier, and They were quite surprised when I said, well, how can you... They were condemning, the Reform Party. And I said, well, how can you condemn them? They're even affecting Labour policy now. When have you heard Keir Starmer talk like this? And at the end of the day, we all know that immigration has been badly handled by the Tories. And one of the worst Prime Ministers we've ever had was Theresa May. Lots of criticism for Tony Blair, and I get it. But why isn't it more apparent that Theresa May was bloody awful for her short time in office? The laws she brought in, like the hate speech laws, the fines for EV manufacturers, what went on with the poisonings, it's all there. So the thing is, now, whether the establishment likes it or not, whether they like it or not, what we want is what we're going to get. Because people are going to gravitate to it. And with another round of council elections, then they'll come round again before a general election, so hopefully they'll do okay again. And then you'll be firmly established by that point. There isn't time to start setting anything else up. Anything else, even the smaller parties that are established, only reap the votes away from a possible win. And we don't change anything unless we get in. The big plus point for me is that Reform would support a form of direct democracy, where some of the big stuff would come back to us to vote, coupled with an honest media, coupled with a government that is not putting pressure on the media to say and do what it thinks. £1 trillion, £1 trillion overall was spent with TV advertising and the rest for the propaganda during the lockdown period. £1 trillion. It's just an amazing amount of money. And that was force-fed on you by the media at the behest of various governments. But now we've got social media like YouTube, we've got Twitter. Facebook is slightly better, though it's not exactly good. But nevertheless, people are turning away from the media in their droves. 88,000 CNN got in a week. Viewers, prime time. It makes you think. And I'm not even doing it professionally, and I got 1.9 million. I'm not even professional. So imagine some of the bigger accounts, like Andrew Gold, Peter McCormack, and they're doing serious podcasts with, high-profile guests. Imagine how much they're taking away. And Joe Rogan in America, how much he's taken off the mainstream media. Because also, people just want the truth. They want it natural. They don't want someone who's reading from a script, who's perfectly groomed, is just reading that auto cue. No, they want to know in real time what's really happening. And that's what a lot of podcasters do.